차디요레스.
Picking up where we left off this morning with the contemplation on the defects of samsara and in general, the four thoughts that turn the mind. And as he mentioned in the morning, a very famous line from Lord Jigten Sumgun, which is, what others consider to be not profound or less profound, we consider to be the most profound. And so this is a line from his Gongchik, and it's about Ngundro. It's about the preliminaries. And so that this is really significant because also Jigten Sumgun, it's not just his opinion based on words, but he, also exemplifies this understanding through his practice.
오다 디기 참바 곰베 좀 센터를 때네 티니 인제 칸디스 지역도 라 소베기 때네 지 practical level로 대가 나기 그 고랑기 줄이잖아 tindiji songyores.
And Lord Jigten Sumgun himself actually said that there was not a single dharma that he taught during his life that was not based on his own direct experience and practice. So everything that he taught was something that he also experienced directly through his own practice, like meditating on love and the benefits, of meditating on love, both physically, mentally, how is that experienced and so forth, and also all of the kind of like on a practical level. So everything that Jigten Sumgun taught were understandings that he gave rise to directly in his mind stream.
As well as Karsenada, Sanji getting Songshaba, Hishaba. Sanji Songshaba, Tenyam Chiva, Teniji Songdua.
So he actually said two things. One, everything that he taught was already taught by the Buddha. So his teachings were based on the teachings of the Buddha, and also there was nothing that he
according to the sutra,
according to the sutras and tantras, and there was nothing that he taught that he did not have put into practice himself.
Dati nenga jirido ta 단단하고 지나 부나 인비나야 나 뒤에서송을 좋아하는 게 송종 다디 네게 다 도통 주되는 송샤비기 냠내 지비기 때문에 틴데지 테마토베케다 사추당 도추당 다 남추당 틴데맨 송고
야보 코마 송공다 야보 치네 코마 송양차
오다 단지 사고선 대종에 네 라비아티 로와 테네 도주 땡추네 송샤비 추 tenyamlane joran buji khone keta namnyong yorwa teins tene sachu like sachu se na termano yorwa ta namchu se ya sachu se ya namchu se ya ta dochu se na ji thane te line ba ro da ta tindi me so mo.
And so he said, that everything that all of his teachings were, based on the sutras, the tantras, and the commentaries, and also based on his own understanding that came about through his own practice. That apart from that, there was no, it's not like Dharma that comes from the earth, Dharma that comes from the sky, Dharma that is like, hidden for years. This is referring to like the Dharma tradition where dharmas are extracted from the earth or from the space or, after many years. So he was saying that is not, what his teachings were based on.
어떻게 다 계산 때만 요래 서와 때만 요래 신나야다 때만 직다 ben 항상 망보 요래 서와 때만 임바 때만 마임바 테네 직 텐디 요래
And of course, the termas are extraordinary and profound, but there's also like a lot of room for kind of false termas, So there's some that are real termas and some that maybe aren't real termas. There's a lot that's out there.
Right. So actually, my personal was on the minayada. Nijiwa ngachi killing yore.
Huh?
Nijiwa ngachi killing yore. 대가나 이게 줄이 지치기 요래 상질 대바 요래스. 이내양 다지 좋다 샤레 자지 고치바레 되네 되네 때 동바레 나오당 대가나 이게다 지 갈색거래 왜다 지 갈색거래 야, 그래서 this you must say 말이스. 베나다 나초기 주일 뇽몽베케 코란테 바차상 지겐베케 넘버 또 바차상 예송한테라 드니 유 세게리 디나 드니데 휘유로와 인다 몽보제게 드니 요레세야 돼. 나 단다야 대somte nemba 이내면서 나 대som 요레스.
So he said he's gonna, be honest here. Like personally, of course, so he believes in past and future lives. He has tremendous faith in the Buddha, but when it comes to the highly realized Mahasiddhas, practitioners, who and stories of extracting things from rock faces and from under the earth and kind of these Drupto la imba. Oh, okay. Yeah, so the point being, so he said Drupto, but he said like, people who have the, who we don't know, right, like what level they're at, and then they like extract these termas, and he has a little bit of doubt sometimes because, of course, there are some really incredibly highly realized beings, but to be able to fully, purify completely, like all obscurations, all afflictive emotions, these are very few, very, very rare and very few. And so, so he has less confidence in the, kind of things that claim to be termas than he does that which is based on like the Buddha's teachings and someone's direct experience and practice. I don't have paper. Denny?
네, 저기 계속 내가 전부 찌 걸송 요리세나. 주비 화를 맞추 봐서도 찌 화를 맞추 봐지. 뭐는 뭐주 봐지. 배나 라마 똑화젠 찌게 로마텔이야. 왕롱 티 차상 톱. 티 로마티기 냠len치 티 똑화지 텐디 치네 주대조데 다 믹스레 송부도와 밴도 차샤나 마르베키 말라리바 칸데스 치노. Mararibe Gamboba Kandesindo. Gamboban Tene Pomotova Kandesido. Pomotovi Kinjikanzo Kandesi, Teneko, Munum Muju Yaba. Telatine, cheat the papa. Instang Ranki Telep in the Siviki. That's actually somewhere.
So, and that's why it's so easy to have so much confidence, so much faith in the teachings of Jigten Sumgön, because of the the power of lineage as an unbroken continuity, meaning that the continuity, it's been passed down, from teacher to student, for generations, and
human being to human being.
human being to human being, so that like this continuity of empowerments, transmissions, teachings, putting them into practice, and experiencing the result, with the blessing of lineage supporting it or behind it. When it was, from Marpa to Milarepa, and then Milarepa to Gampopa, Gampopa to Pagmodrupa, Pagmodrupa to Jigten Sungan. And so it really gives this support to the lineage, that it is really, that it's been maintained, in such unbroken continuity, and brought to full realization through practice, by each person in the line of transmission.
어따띠인데 대가나이다 단단가서 참례다 라마서서 뭐 땅미나드네 이제 라메케 남타르도솔라 되네 다 배대 같이 걸세나지 지텐디케 로율인데와 뭐지 퇴샤비오로와 지텐디는 마시와노지 뭐 트리오리 스페셜로지.
So in a lot of the life stories of the past masters, there's lots of accounts of kind of otherworldly feats or miraculous things.
이나야다티 가르세나 따지치는 줌센다 요사레스라와 줌센 요레스 대야데 이나 참마 투세야들 이지치야 백하버레스.
So, and there's a reason, why all these things are written. But to be honest, it's hard sometimes to believe that all those things are true. But there's also a reason for the exaggeration.
Look at the practitioners, authentic Koran lamaji practitioner realization yongenji ina that tella tezamji muk tona yo marista. No yo maris. Go be ordinary me, so no it's a degree, tong maris.
And the reason for that is because, so they are, these are life stories of authentic, great spiritual masters. And to inspire, and especially perhaps, in the context or the tradition that these stories have come out of, to inspire practitioners, then to have stories about them as if they were ordinary people, with ordinary things in their lives, then it wouldn't inspire as much the people who read them.
Right, yeah, this kind of, he's a practitioner, but we not much kind of advertise. So people want something, this, I said before, too much expecting. So then they said, oh, this Lama is very special, he can fly. Then oh, that's very good, even though he maybe not fly. Right? So people want that, but he's really high realization in the retreat, Maybe he can fly, but he never show, he's just real practice. People may think, whatever, he's sort of in care. So, but it sounded, what is exaggerated, right?
Yeah, exaggerated.
So they say, oh, he's very, very special. Oh, he can fly. He did this, see this footprint in the rock. Then people just, oh, yeah, that's very special. So that's kind of, I think there may be some reasons. But sometimes we don't make conflicts either. So human beings kind of really interesting, right? So I went to this one story. I went to the South India. They did Dalai Lama did the Kalachakra so this the Drepung monastery. So that's actually Armorwadi. So this Buddha did the Kalachakra there. So I was there. And then, interesting, so that's a lot of people. So sort of like in this huge stupa, the stupa is just only foundation, but hundreds, thousands going to the circumambulation.
Yeah.
So then, probably Steve, and you saw with the Buddha, right? Buddha Nath, some people chanting, the monk is chanting, so for the money,
For money, or
Yeah.
yeah.
So anyway, so this lot of, some beggars, whatever, some of the monks just chanting. So the people offering get money, right? So then, so one guy, he's not monk, even though looks like he cannot read Tibet. Even though I don't think so, he's not Tibet either.
Maybe not even actually Tibetan.
Right. So, but he saying is, so this Tibetan,
So there's this prayer that's often recited called,
prayer, right?
it's one of Padmasambhava's prayers, Guru Rinpoche's prayers, called Barche Lamsel. So it says, outer obstacles, chi Barche chi dusol, right? Yeah, so dispel outer obstacles externally, and dispel inner obstacles internally.
Right. So then, so he's doing is actually, sort of actually himself, sort of like a bigger place, and also like he put the big blanket in front, and then he's saying like, source.
Outer obstacles, dispel them externally.
And then he just got 1 minute. He never ever this actually really not Dharma. He just can't matter up. Not make sense. At the end,
Inner obstacles, dispel them inwardly.
So he's doing that, right? So I know Dharma, so I really care about he's maybe knows that this what Lamsi, right? No, at all.
So he was trying to see if he was chanting the Barche Lamsel, but he wasn't.
So, but the people, they give them money, luck. He just completely filled up the blanket. So other monks, they're really reading the Dharma. Yeah, of course they know the Dharma. They're reading the Dharma. Really, this is real. I don't know how much realization, but yeah, this count like 10 rupees, whatever, and less, maybe less 100 rupees. So those guys, I saw how people thinking what they, like, he's just thousands, like, he just completely filled up the blanket. People just throw the money, so.
Because of the spectacle, the show of it was what it was impressive to people.
Right, so people that didn't see reality, just kind of really superficial, So anyway, so that's story. So,
there are all these stories in the sutras where when we talk about the arhats, how the arhats would fly from one place to another. So it's common in the cities, right? It's just like a lot of charlatans as well.
arhats.
Yeah,
they're possible. I think I said this did not happen. Also, we told the Tej or Dharma, Yeah, possible. That's I didn't say everything, this wrong. But they mix up. Many things mix up. Right. So many things very difficult to this all the time. These days, past time, and people like, so. But yeah, they also this malaria, so those are I think it is completely gone in the no longer afflict emotions,
That's what's most valuable,
Right.
not the
So
miracles.
then, I think no longer the ordinary concept. And they kind of like, we passed the mountain, right? So sort of like, so the beyond the ordinary concept is sort of beyond. And then I think really can see the reality. And then those people, probably they don't do not many often, even you can fly, okay?
They wouldn't
Never
demonstrate
try.
it.
They have like a lot of clairvoyance, but looks like a business thing, this, maybe he's clairvoyant, we tell them, and the clairvoyance, and then they make money or this become famous. No. So the opposite, so if really got realization there, so then this as much as they hide and not like, because the beyond like ordinary fame or money or names, So because also realization is like that, if you something like purpose something, I become famous, I become whatever, make money, and then never get realization, So, yeah. Okay, so, we can start now. So who's reading?
So would anybody like to read the next section where we left off, which was, thank you, page 3, halfway down. Any volunteers to read? Okay, Isaac.
So where is that? It's covered.
The Shurang Sumpa, the
Right,
three,
so cover all over like.
Gardu Bardu. So maybe up to the top of page 4, or should he read maybe into the all-pervasive suffering of conditioned existence at the end of that one?
Okay.
Okay, so because that's where it was, yeah.
Okay.
So read through 2.1 on page 4.
To the top or the 2.12?
To the bottom of 2.1, so the middle of the page 4.
Number 2, the 3 types of suffering that characterize samsara. 2.1, the all-pervasive suffering of conditioned existence. 2.2, the suffering of change. 2.3, overt suffering. In general, it is important to understand what is meant in the context when we speak of suffering. It is not as though everything is pure misery, devoid of all happiness and joy. Nor are we trying to see it in that way. Rather, we're acknowledging a fundamental truth about existence that, when properly understood, becomes the foundation for genuine happiness and freedom. It's like, for example, someone who is diagnosed with a dangerous illness such as cancer, but then discovers there is a very promising, highly effective cure for it, which brings a tremendous sense of hope and relief. In the same way, knowing that samsara is the nature of suffering, but also understanding the path and practices that lead to liberation from these cycles give us profound cause for joy. Sometimes there is a misunderstanding that develops based on what we think characterizes the word suffering in English. The term in Tibetan is dongnyang, or dukkha in Sanskrit. The meaning of the English word suffering is included in dukkha, but it also implies much more than that. It refers to everything from the very coarse forms of misery and suffering, all the way to the very subtle, furtively imperceptible levels of suffering. It speaks to the unsatisfying nature of sensory experience as a whole, as well as the underlying strain and discomfort of embodied existence. 2.1, the all-pervasive suffering of conditioned existence. In the Ornament of Precious Liberation, it says, "The suffering of conditioned existence has a neutral feeling. the suffering of change has a feeling of pleasure about it, and overt suffering actually feels like suffering. The moment we are born, we are bound to the aggregates, which in themselves are the nature of suffering. Even if we temporarily experience happiness and pleasure, there is the underlying current of potentiality, or rather the inevitability of change. This generates a very subtle level of anxiety and stress. It is said that this type of all-pervasive suffering is so subtle that it is not even perceived by ordinary beings. It is very acutely seen and experienced, however, by noble beings. The example that is often given is that for ordinary beings, this type of suffering is like a hair resting on the palm of one's hand. But noble beings, it is like a hair caught in the eye. Essentially, this type of suffering contains every aspect of conditioned existence and is what most fundamentally characterizes the unsatisfactory nature of even the most pleasant of experience to be found in samsara. Contemplating again and again the three types of suffering that characterize samsara, you can think, there is no satisfaction to be found anywhere among the 6 classes of beings in the 3 realms of samsara. As such, I shall incline my mind toward genuine renunciation and will dedicate my entire life to the path of liberation and awakening demonstrating by the Buddha.
Okay, so we contemplate 10 minutes. Tene tero da tangi tiki nga so jun tu ndo ji ma shubi nas.
Karela?
Oda tangi oda de se kashi ji la. We following that topic a bit more.
Oh, okay. So to also address some of the things he was speaking of before.
Tene da bena sangje ro cha sha bi na tene nga so ta ji sam ji laptang ni ndo ji yo res. Te sangje ta nga je o sangje ko korang sangje cha res. yin da nga so ji tu wa ro ten ji nga zo ki chi to le tene ji sangje ba res ya ji yo res. tene ta yang laptang ji de kar se na sangje ko korang nga so ji kwa re tene mo re tene nyam ne ji ne sangje ba re se ji yo ro wa. oda nga rang da wo sa mo ta na sangje thang bo khang za tha me ba yin ba ma yin ba tene ji le tene chu nyam ne ji ne sangje ba re slam na 다 ngazo la po ba je ya jig da da chi wo ba no cha ding do nge de song yo res.
So there are two ways that the Buddha is spoken about that kind of appeal differently to different people. So one way that the Buddha is spoken of is that it is said that actually the Buddha was already enlightened. He was already enlightened, an enlightened being. And that he emanated in this world as a Nirmanakaya emanation and displayed the 12 deeds of awakening for the purpose of benefiting beings, but that he was already awakened. He was a Buddha, but enlightened before he manifested Buddhahood in this world. And then the other way that he's spoken of is that actually the Buddha was an ordinary human being, just like us, and that he ended up awakening to, the attained full enlightenment as a human being at first. And so actually in these two kind of different ways or versions of speaking about the Buddha, Drupal Rinpoche says that he finds the more inspiring version to be that the Buddha was actually an ordinary being, just like us. And then it means, that we also have that potential.
That tendo win ta ya bo yo re. Pen den do tan da nga so ti te ro pervasive suffering se ya. Mare ma chi chabalo tendu tine pena sanje ndo samo tambi na sanje ki khorang kabla ta jerbu yin bi kabla khorang jikten din tu chen chatang yo ro wa jikten din tu chen khorang tene wang yo de nurbu tang ta pe sha da ju thang pan jo da khorang khang go wa yo ro wa yo res yin yang 다 딘 직텐디 고 함 단다디 고 텐딘 직텐디 겐 튠첸 차상와 진 좀도 유비이나 테네 다동 코랑 단다직다 프로페서 동아지 요와데 다 산인첸 거래고 사디스파이 차요 말고 데는 거 산질에 대바제야도 와 어떤마다 코랑 벤 직텐디나 차상 요래 테네 고 텐디 치보치 조대야로 와 텐디 많이 받아 텐도 원데 이나 테네 오 다동 마창와지 이러와 다동 매와직 다동 상지야 요와직 가르매고 가림지 걔는 두견 좀 요나테네 직 다동 동예지 요 하고야지 다 된다고 이나테네 상질 대바지야 용구도
So also in that like connected with this pervasive suffering of conditioned existence. So the Buddha, prior to becoming the Buddha, when he was a prince, he had anything anyone could ever possibly want. He was extraordinarily wealthy, extraordinarily handsome. He had an abundance of comfort and power and wealth and enjoyments, and was, looked after and cared for by, many servants and so forth. And so he really had it all, and yet he was unsatisfied. He recognized that in itself was not going to be fulfilling. And so that, caused him to leave, his worldly life as a prince and to seek the path of awakening. And so this gives us even more faith in the Buddha because of this example of renunciation, that even, in a seemingly suffering-free state of existence, he understood the truth of suffering and had the arising of renunciation.
어다디인디 대가나기다 가좀 걸빼마 삼바와 디니 라당니 요레스타 초제 칼라고르스나 고름보치베 디니 콩크얍 뱀메시비기다 개파 초바토바 디니 다 노당 나당 상가다도 소베다다 창초바 디니제 그 퍼레스랍고로와 자 텐더위나다 인반도 요래 고름보치 코나 텐더우지 요로와 양가시 글럽디 마레 메도 베네메 나라 제바레 송고르다 니체 마레 준체레 슬랍고로와 인타 몽보제키 준체지리 자치고 다 주는 니체 마이 준체 자치보레 송고리다 나라산나 준체이나 할레야 요마로와 고 준체 공보로와 이네 니체제키 틴리 토바텔라 테네 항상고야로와 오다테 just story but
So, and similarly, Guru Padmasambhava, Guru Rinpoche is spoken of also in two ways. Like, so in some accounts, it is like that Guru Padmasambhava had a father. He was raised by his father, who was actually a great yogi, who was really, really well versed in practice, and especially in tantra, secret mantra, and that he learned, from the example of his father, and was really trained by his father. He was so his father was a great yogi. And then another version says that actually Guru Rinpoche wasn't human at all, that he was born miraculously from a lotus flower. And so most people say, think, oh, wow, yes, Guru Rinpoche, who was born, from a lotus flower, this miraculous birth, that's like the more impressive version of the story. But actually, Drupana Rinpoche says he thinks that it's the reverse, because, if he's already this miraculous being, then that's not actually as amazing as being born a human from a womb and then becoming this miraculous and extraordinary being.
Just side story. But this is the interesting, right? This is the kind of the zuntuindo yoro the mbotozo ki the zuntuindo do. Mbotozo.
So I've heard.
Wait, can you wait for the microphone?
So I've heard the lotus-born story, and I've heard teachings on it. I don't remember because I hear so many teachings and they all blend together. But there's this concept of the lotus-born, I forget what it is, but there was a whole story behind it. It wasn't like he was born from a lotus. In this particular description, it was more that, his enlightenment, kind of was born from the lotus, not him himself, sort of being. Again, I really wish I kind of remembered more of the storyline behind it, but it was the lotus
So
born.
it's more of like a metaphor.
It was definitely metaphoric for, his realizations, is what I heard, kind of.
That's just actually understand that way is pretty good.
Kind of a middle ground.
Right. Ina yang ta tanda ngasu di ngoni bonyi ko lawache yores.
But there are lots of Tibetan
Right.
stories that where the idea is that he actually was literally born from a
Nietzsche me
lotus.
zunchi is la bro.
That he had a
Lotus unfolds and there's
Well, that's exactly it. Yeah. It's a
And also, this
miraculous
actually
birth.
lotus born is that also two regions. So one they said he's princess, okay,
A prince.
right, princess. Pomo.
Oh, there was a princess.
Yeah, princess son.
He was the son of a princess.
So then they want to like kind of picnic whatever in the lotus, you know, in the lake, and then at the evening, so he sat in the lotus. So that probably the lotus really big. These days I didn't see the lotus that big, but that's problem too. So anyway, so he's play and the mom and the son and the friends, and then so son is sit in this lotus, but the evening the lotus closed. So mother didn't find. So just he go home. So the next morning, and then the one minister saw this, opened the sign, and then special, then this came in the body, took the ham. So that's another story. Another story is he's really born in the lotus. So, two versions. Okay, so now we can read. So somebody online read or
Yeah, with somebody on.
here, either way.
So we're now on the suffering of change. So, what's that? Steve has the mic. Okay, thank you.
How far do you want me to go?
Through just the suffering of change. So up to 2.3.
Up to 2.3?
Up to 2.3. So just
Yep, suffering of change.
yeah.
Okay. 2.2, the suffering of change. The suffering of change is easy to understand. Whatever sources of pleasure, happiness, and joy we find in samsara, they are always inevitably at some point subject to change. We wander in samsara due to afflictive emotions, the mind of craving and aversion. Wherever we're born, craving and aversion are there with us. For this reason, we crave the things that bring us happiness and pleasure and cling to them with attachment. When things change, as they inevitably do, we feel suffering and aversion. For example, things may be going well for us for a while. Perhaps we're healthy, we're successful in our business, we're popular and liked by many people. We're doing well financially. But such situations are never permanent. Things are constantly changing year to year, month to month, week to week, day to day, hour to hour, and even moment to moment. There is no way to hang on to anything. We may, for example, feel physically well and mentally at peace in the morning. Perhaps we're relaxed and at ease. Our mind is inclined to virtue and we feel aligned with Dharma. Then after a few hours, our mood completely changes. Perhaps something makes us angry, or we give rise to jealousy or irritation. And suddenly our peace of mind is completely lost. In this way, our experience is changing at all times. As long as we have this body, the potential for afflictive emotions is always lurking. We have to be very conscious to remain in alignment with Dharma and to practice virtue. We have to constantly be on watch and correct course. As we know, everything that we experience is a product of the karma we have accumulated, all the good and all the bad. We have a mix of karma. Sometimes favorable karma ripens, and then it changes into the ripening of unfavorable karma. We can see it for what it is, and this will help us to feel less distress. As long as we are embodied in samsara, we are at the mercy of the waves of our ever unfolding karma. The body and the mind wander together. In Nagon Cheek, Lord Jigten Sumgun says, "It is the body that wanders in the ocean of samsara." Most commonly, it is thought that it is the mind which wanders in samsara, not the body, since the body is cast off at death and the mind continues on. However, Lord Jigten Sumgun makes the point that in order for the consciousness to wander in samsara, it has to assume a body, and that body manifests from lifetime to lifetime according to karma. Contemplating again and again the three types of suffering that characterize samsara, you can think, there is no satisfaction to be found anywhere among the 6 classes of beings in the 3 realms of samsara. As such, I shall incline my mind toward genuine renunciation and will dedicate my entire life to the path of liberation and awakening demonstrated by the Buddha.
Okay, thank you, Steve. So I think this the last one is a little bit short, so maybe somebody read, we together, maybe turn to Hidayah Marwa.
Okay, Beverly. So Beverly will also read overt suffering.
Donna will.
Oh, or Donna will, okay.
2.3, overt suffering. From the moment of birth, we inevitably face overt suffering at multiple points throughout our lives. The suffering that characterizes the human condition, birth, old age, sickness, and death, falls into the category of overt suffering. These experiences rarely occur in isolation, rather they cascade and compound. Consider how aging brings not only diminishing vision, but also intensifying pain. Arthritic. How someone might simultaneously require gallbladder surgery while dealing with debilitating knee problems. Overt suffering encompasses a spectrum of physical, mental, and emotional hardships that frequently intertwine. Physical pain becomes amplified by our mental and emotional responses. When we lose someone dear to us, our natural grief intensifies through our resistance to accepting the loss. During illness, physical discomfort is layered with anxiety about recovery and fear of deterioration. Yet these fundamental experiences, illness, aging, and death, remain natural and unavoidable aspects of human existence. When we approach these challenges with acceptance rather than resistance, we discover they become significantly more bearable. The suffering doesn't disappear, but our relationship to it transforms. Contemplating again and again the 3 types of suffering that characterize samsara, you can think, there is no satisfaction to be found anywhere among the 6 classes of beings in the 3 realms of samsara. As such, I shall incline my mind toward genuine renunciation and will dedicate my entire life to the path of liberation and awakening demonstrated by the Buddha.
Thank you, Dana. So, yeah, we can do 10 minutes, this one. Okay.
Okay, so maybe I'll read through just the outline for the specific suffering of the 6 realms, which we have on page 6. So first we have 3.1 are the 18 hell realms. So we have the 8 hot hell realms, the neighboring hells, the 8 cold hell realms, and the ephemeral hells. And then we have the realms of hungry ghosts. And in that, there are generally 2 categories, hungry ghosts who live collectively and hungry ghosts who move through space. Under hungry ghosts who live collectively, there are 3 categories. Those are hungry ghosts with external obscurations, hungry ghosts with internal obscurations, and hungry ghosts with specific obscurations. Then there is the animal realm, and the 3 categories of suffering in the animal realm are the fear and terror of being preyed upon and eaten by other animals, being hunted and killed or butchered by humans, and being bound into servitude by humans. So these are the 3 lower realms, the hell realms, the realm of hungry ghosts, and the animal realms. And then we have the 3 higher realms, which are the human realm, the demigod realm, and the god realms. So in the human realms, we have 8 types of suffering, specifically the suffering of birth, the suffering of old age, the suffering of illness, the suffering of death. So we always hear about those 4, right? Birth, old age, sickness, and death. And then in addition, there are the 4 types of suffering: the suffering of not getting what you want, the suffering of, that's a typo, the suffering of meeting with what you don't want, the suffering of chasing after what you want, and the suffering of trying to protect what you have. And then there are the demigod realms, then the god realms, and then in the god realms you have 3 levels of god realms. You have the desire realm god realms, of which there are 6 specifically. No, god realms.
Okay.
So that's the god realm of the 4 great kings, the god realm of the 33, the god realm free from strife, the joyous god realm, the god realm of enjoying emanations, and the god realm of controlling others' emanations. And then you have the god realms of the form realm, which correspond with the 4 states of meditative concentration, the 4 dhyanas, or jhanas in Pali. And then you have the god realms of the formless realms, which correspond with the 4 formless absorptions. So the god realms of the form and formless realms are caused by states of meditative concentration.
Okay.
So would somebody like to read?
So if you want, we can short break or.
Oh.
Okay, so we short break. I'll let the demigod the category or somewhere.
Demigod category. Oh, category Yomare. Yeah, so he was just asking because, there wasn't, there weren't specific categories of demigods within the demigods. So the demigods was just its own category.
So come back maybe 2:40. Yeah.
2:40? So 10 minutes, 3:40.
3:40, sorry. We keep back for it. 단대치고 서리. della insomma cosa male e focati suffering zone yorwa tel check chim do so tima check chim suffering mo bomba karena mo go to kana to
so dampo de chitang or digging na yang chitang. So 3 types of suffering. Can we do some more?
tate check chim do so de was male.
This is
어때?
Yeah.
373 or 37 생만 찍 지는 직사.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's the version I did it.
오케이.
Okay.
이제 찍 항상 용용 열어 봐. 37.
Yeah. Okay.
This one's smoother. That's why I should put a little. Like when you see what I mean?
你这张也蛮有用。
Yeah, it feels like a hydraulic.
Well, it's
Because it's
much
supposed to
better
be like-
back bearing.
I see.
Yeah, yeah, it's much better one.
You want this one? We'll try the other one. See if it works.
Sure would be great. I appreciate it.
And then you I wish I had like a Mexico here. I've been saving it. You had some in the freezer. I remember getting that one. My
so we somebody read.
I can read.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, she'll get a chance. Yeah, whoever that was who spoke up, I think it may have been Alana, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, it was Alana.
Okay, yeah, Alana, please read for us.
Suffering can actually be seen as valuable in many ways. It is due to the juxtaposition of suffering that we can even identify its opposite, happiness and well-being. Similarly, we say samsara is valuable because without it, there is no possibility of awakening. Without delusion, there is no freedom from delusion. Suffering can make you stronger. It can help you develop inner strength. Suffering builds patience. Based on our own experience of suffering, we become capable of feeling genuine compassion. Due to suffering, we can become focused on benefiting others. Because of suffering, we can understand the situations of others. In the face of suffering, we can come to truly understand the value of human life. Experiencing suffering, we know we must become free and reach the state of Buddhahood. As it says in the way of the Bodhisattva, who created the burning iron ground? From where have the flames of fire arisen? All are but a product of the harmful mind. This is what the mighty sage has said. So, as the Buddha has taught, hell is not a truly existent physical place, and yet, we also cannot say that hell does not exist. Hell is the karmic manifestation, the fruition of powerfully negative emotions such as hatred and actions such as violence. Even the experience of powerful negative emotions as the cause and the actions that stem from them can itself be like a hell experience. However, based on the severity of the negativity, there are also inevitably varieties of karmic fruition that happen later, both in this life and in future lives. If you think of all the horrendous, terrible things that people do to one another, things that we have heard or read about, or maybe even witnessed, it is sensible that there would be a result that corresponds with the cause. In many cases, this takes the form of experiencing birth in an illusory karmic manifestation of a hell realm that is experienced as very real and truly existent to the one who has to endure that karmic ripening. All of the 6 realms, including the human realm that we now experience, are that way. It's like a dream. During the dream, you think the dream is real. It is not until you wake up from the dream that you realize it was an illusion. The Buddhas and Bodhisattvas can see the illusory appearances of the 6 realms of samsara experienced by the 6 classes of beings as clearly as if holding them in the palm of their hands. Contemplating again and again the suffering of the hell realms, you can think, there is no satisfaction to be found anywhere among the 6 classes of beings in the 3 realms of samsara. As such, I shall incline my mind towards genuine renunciation and will dedicate my entire life to the path of liberation and awakening demonstrated by the Buddha.
Thank you, Lana. So, okay, so we 10 minutes, contemplate. so now, yeah, somebody read.
The 3.1. You want me to read all 3.1?
3.1 and, yeah, 3.1.1.
The severity, the 18 hell realms. The severity of suffering and the duration accord with the weight of the karma accrued. There is said to be 8 hot realms, 8 cold hell realms, the neighboring hell realms, and the ephemeral hell realms. The 8 hot hell realms, reviving hells. A product of intense anger, the reviving helms takes the form of a battlefield where being attacked, tortured, and killing one another. Each time you are killed, there is a voice that resonates the sky saying, "May the dead be restored to life." Thus you are revived, and the process begins all over again. And in this way, the beings there experience the pain and terror of being killed over and over. The duration that begins remains in this hell realm and is inordinately long. 500 human years is the length of a single day for the gods in the god realm and for great kings.
The God realm of the four
Great kings. 500 years of such single days in the god realm of the 4 great kings equals to 1 day in the reviving hell. The general lifespans for a being in the reviving hell is about 500 years, consisting of such days. As one descends through the progressively more severe hell realms, from the reviving hells to Avicii, both the intensity of the torment and the duration of the existence increases exponentially. Black line hell. In this hell realm, black lines are drawn across the body, as if tracing out a pattern on a cloth to be cut and stitched into clothing. One is then swayed and chopped along, sawed and chopped along those lines with burning saws and axes. Crushing hells. Here beings are pounded and smashed between 2 mountains or ground up and flattened as if by mortar and pestle. The mortar is vast, as in a giant valley, and made of steel, and the pestle is the size of a mountain. The wailing hell. In the wailing hell, beings cry out, wailing and moaning as they are burned alive. Wow. Great wailing hell. In the great wailing hell, beings scream and cry even louder as they are burnt alive and tortured by fire. Hot hell. In the hot hell, beings are impaled with blazing spears and tortured with various types of fire, lava, and molten iron. Exceedingly hot hell. Here, the torture through various types of burning, boiling, impaling, and so forth becomes even more intense. Avicii hell, the hell of ceaseless torment. This is said to be the most severe and worst place of hell, where beings remain tortured and agonized for countless eons. Here, beings are said to be confined within a giant iron building and relentlessly boiled in vast vats of molten iron. The duration and existence here approaches infinity, as beings remain trapped until their negative karma is finally exhausted.
What?
It's very.
This should be a movie, like we're on a tour of the hells and they're thinking, well, this is the molten hell, this is the fiery hell, this is the fiery hell. Make for a good show.
Okay.
But it's interesting, what always comes to mind, who is that artist, Bosch? Is it Bosch who does like those scenes from the hot hell realms? And there's like one where they are like burning in vats of like molten iron. I think it's Bosch, Yeah, do you know kind of what I'm talking about? That some, yeah, like medieval artists, yeah, of European. So it's interesting, you know, sort of the similarities. I guess Christian versions of hell are comparable.
Just funny, you have a wailing hell and then a great wailing hell. All determined based upon how loud you wail.
In which suffering you will the more.
Yeah, sometimes they tell you what.
Yeah, it is Hieronymus Bosch.
Yes, yeah, yeah. I think those are pretty apt depictions.
Kokatido.
The Euroki, the remote chicken Euroa, ngama. Then Kong Yang, the Yawe, you la be, Rimon Potri, Euroa, then in Atsoke, Yang, the Late Laptang, Dang Test, Rawado.
You know, that the sounds like they are interesting, so that I got the nearby kit seat sola, Tene, co during Boris, Labuorwa.
Yeah, so, you know, it is said that the time period that beings who are born in hell remain in hell, obviously, you know, it's a very long time.
So one hand is this called Demba no Yorwa, Yoris.
Jumbago?
Demba.
Yeah, and he thinks that that's probably the case. That's, you know,
You know,
that's
that's
accurate.
Doji, Doji Latine, that Cassis, the last long Yorwa. Doji, Yuna, Doji, Yuna.
Like, for instance, you know, like a stone, like if you think about, like, if there's a stone, like a stone lasts for a very, very long time before it breaks
We're
down.
thinking about how long.
We think about how long.
So these are actually this explained. But one time I was young, so also occasional here like that. So I some break the rocks, you know. So we just throw the rocks. So one day I just kind of really round rock, and then the inside, like break the rock. I saw inside like spider.
Spider.
Yeah.
Alive?
I think life. I'm not sure. Sort of a little bit scary too. You know, I laughed. So this also in the text they said actually this they tapped or something the inside.
Frog.
So we're thinking about maybe rocks. That's maybe how lasts long, you know. But interesting, this is some days, you know, this. We're thinking the years looks very long, you know. But I went to the Ladakh, so the top of the mountain, not top, that's kind of middle of the mountain, you know, rocky mountain. So that time is maybe huge river, you know. The river cut all the rocks image, you know. So that's, I think, how long ago, you know. But these days, just that 4 or 5, you know, feet down, like top there, so long time ago, you know. The big river, and so the images, I say this, how the rocks, this last long, you know, minutes, years.
So to like have a concept, I think what he's saying is like how it is actually this sort of incredibly long duration of time
Yeah, similar also.
is something we can grasp if we think about those things.
Yeah, there's Tucson too, actually. Tucson is what is Savina Canyon. Similar, these rocks, you know, cut the rivers long time ago. So, but these days there's no water. belong to Agua, there may be big, huge river. So anyway, so yeah, so then maybe we read.
Are we meditating or reading? We're reading. Okay. So, uh-huh.
I'll read.
Okay. You can maybe read all the way through the cold hells
Okay.
or the ephemeral hells. Yeah.
Okay. Someone's gonna have to scroll
Meditation or no?
up.
What's that?
Someone will have to scroll up for me as I go, I think.
Oh, yeah. So, Tenzin, can you go to the neighboring, like we're on the neighboring hells, right? And then we'll just make sure you scroll with her. Yeah.
Each of the neighboring hells are said to be located in each of the 4 cardinal directions, making 16 altogether. They are the pit of hot embers, the swamp of putrid corpses, the field of razor blades, the forest of swords. In all the intermediate directions are the hills of the Shamali trees.
Yeah, we didn't. I thought you didn't want us to meditate. I thought that's why.
Oh.
I thought you meant we go further.
Okay, keep going.
Keep going. It's okay.
Okay. Contemplating again and again the suffering of the hell realms, you can think there is no satisfaction to be found anywhere among the 6 classes of beings in the 3 realms of samsara. As such, I shall incline my mind toward genuine renunciation and will dedicate my entire life to the path of liberation and awakening demonstrated by the Buddha. The 8 cold hell realms. In the cold hell realms, the environment is one of snowy landscapes, blizzards and glaciers and ice. Depending on the severity of the karma accrued, the cold realms become progressively colder, more severe, and the lifespan of beings increasingly longer. The hell of blisters. This hell realm is so cold that the beings there develop blisters all over their bodies. The hell of burst blisters. This hell realm is even colder, to the point that blisters form and then crack open from the intense cold. The chattering teeth hell. In this hell, realm beings are tormented and freezing from the bitter cold, and their teeth are perpetually chattering. The hell of lamination. In this hell, let me stop.
Lamentation is.
Lamentation. Okay. In this hell, which is excruciatingly cold, the beings there are endlessly moaning and lamenting in their pain. The hell of groans. In this hell realm, beings are tortured by speech, by such pain and freezing cold that they can only let out slow and painful groans. The hell of Utpala-like wounds. In this hell realm, being's skin turns blue and cracks into 4 petal segments. The hell of lotus-like wounds. In this hell realm, the skin cracks open to the inner flesh, raw and red, splitting into 8 petal-like segments. The hell of great lotus-like wounds. Here, the skin becomes dark red and splits into 16, 32, and then innumerable segments. Worms penetrate the cracked flesh and devour it with their metal beaks. Oh,
And you can read the ephemeral hells too.
oh, the ephemeral hells. These hell realms do not exist in any particular place and manifest due to any variety of causes, and beings can remain there for an indefinite period of time. The beings of these hells realms live in rivers, some in hills, and some in desolate areas, or yet other places. Some are in subterranean realms, and some are in the human realms. Often these hells take the form of consciousness, becoming trapped in inanimate objects and mistakenly identifying those objects they are trapped in as their own body. Contemplating again and again the suffering of the hell realms, you can think, there is no satisfaction to be found anywhere among the 6 classes of beings in the 3 realms of samsara. As such, I shall incline my mind toward genuine renunciation and will dedicate my entire life to the path of liberation and awakening demonstrated by the Buddha.
Thank you. So now we 10 minutes.
Chart on my phone.
Now we lot.
We have a lot to contemplate.
Teneta terwa pobe ke tsengdo ji samantana. This chi also bechen do wina. Teni tsawe ke tsek se ji orwa. Tenga so lo sem ge ore serwa. Tsawa tan dewa yoro root text do.
Oh, right.
Kata di indu teni benam ita enchi notice ko tini yo marwa. Ina yang kota the tsawe ke tsengdo wina pobe tsengdo wina terwa benanga so mini uji ambot chang se ji ora mini uji ambot chang len ta malo ne la ti stendo os ta ta te ne o ta te no ro pena rang jo nga yo ro rang jo ga da te dis tu bo la ro mini uji ambot chang len ta malo ne la ti le tsek ji na yo ro
So say that again. Mene
uji
uji.
ambot chang Linda malo ni latis. Tsek ni na ro so linda malo ni latis. No ta tendo. Pena nyerwa ndo ina ta nyerwa ji yo ro wa. Nyerwa ji la tendo wa. Pena yang so ting na dun jom tang. Ngombu che cha wa. Rapsa na mi chanya ji zi yo ko tsek teni ji.
So sawe tsek gando de dapo tarjin ne la yoro be gare. Sawe tsek gane yo wale taja.
Peche da mombo na yo ro wa ta. Ta tendo ta ko so na nyerwa ti. Inta teni ko ha ko na ko dis ti tsek de lo sem de yo ro wa. Pena tanga su di lo na ba hina ten jo ju ji na re.
So one thing that's maybe he said, it's a little tricky in English, but a lot of these. So when like for Tibetans, they learn these by heart because there's some really concise presentations in like particular root texts. So we have like root texts that are like more kind of like concise and poetic, and then we have commentaries, right? So like whether, for instance, the Precious Human Birth, where we have like, reflecting on the 10 endowments and the endowments that are based on oneself from one's own side, and the endowments that are the 5 that are come from oneself and the 5 that are circumstantial. And so for the 5 of oneself, he just recited what they memorize in Tibetan, which is really, really concise. Like all 5 are contained in like 2 lines. So like, being born a human, being born in a central place, having the complete faculties, not having engaged in any of the 5 acts of immediate consequence, and and having faith.
Yeah, this English harder, but the Tibetan, the style is the memorize. So like kind of very easy. Like mini, right? So uji mini, I think.
Minne, it just means like being a human.
Yeah, also u.
Also then central place.
So sort of like very easy, but English like a bit harder, but so similar also these days.
And so same he said with the hell realm. So like same, they all come in like one after the other in like a very kind of quick succession that's easy to memorize. So they actually memorize it, so then they know by heart, what these lists are because they're memorized.
Right, so yeah, this Tibetan easy, this it helps.
So he just like went through all of the 8 hot hells just now. So they're easy in Tibetan.
But interesting, this is, even though actually teach these kind of like very easy words, teach to the parents, my mother, even though he cannot, read Tibetan language, but they know these things, and then this also what called
it's passed down orally.
The mountain, Iron Mountain, right? We call this.
Oh, like the hill of Shamali.
Yeah. So anyway, so that's okay. So this we rest. Now it's already Holy Ghost. What happens?
So do we read then the
So
hungry
you cover
ghost?
the 60 neighboring hills. You know.
Not so but I don't think the 16 gandhi the Latvia Marawa. We can add that. So it sounds like maybe so they're the so there's 16 altogether of the neighboring hills. We have the 4 in the cardinal directions that are mentioned here, and then and there are 4 of each of them, and so that's why there are 16.
So these the 4 they have name.
The pit of hot. Actually, I think it's just hot embers, not hot, although hot would work. The pit of hot embers, the swamp of putrid corpses, the field of razor blades, and the forest of swords.
Right. So this may be like a clarification. I think we forget. So can be Kadolabna, can be 16 though, can be 20 or days.
You said that in English. So it can be that there are 16, it can be that there are 20.
Okay. So if 16, so kare list.
So if there's 16, then there are the 4 of these in the cardinal directions. So 4 in each of the cardinal directions. So that's 16.
Right. What is name?
The pit of hot embers, the swamp of
Kare
putrid
fi.
corpses, the field of
Ronya
razor
down.
blades. Yeah.
Okay. There.
The pit of hot embers.
The Ronya da Tetsen Chuo.
No.
Yeah, these embers. So you say right.
Oh, okay. The field of razor blades
Right.
and the forest of swords.
Razor blade, razor field, right?
Field.
Razor blade field. Oh, that thing the chitanga to the red lomi nakse siati. That thing which in here is in that tea tolanga to that cartoon of colors na young chur rami say yoris. Chuji yoris.
The Thakur line.
Flourishing river noji.
Oh, Yabokoma song. Then that the chuo the young Thakur la yore.
Mari. Chu yoris the rushing river noji. The jigris.
So the Kakarebe.
Really.
Yeah, so in some versions, there's also this like rushing river.
The rushing river the Kacha the Yore Lavina, Kazanoji Lavri. In a yati, I said a couple of weeks ago. Tele Karsena Gato da the Setapangro.
Komason.
Setatakude. They love.
Oh, life release. Yeah.
Oh, Tetana, ta Sani Tilatine, the Chur Rami Latine, cross Chito Grace.
Oh, so they sometimes say, so there's this practice that they do, that many Tibetans do, very popular also in Tibet, and also in some other places where they make it a practice to release beings, like beings who are captivated and like their destiny is to die, for instance, like, bait or something for fishing, or, any creatures that are, or sheep or something that are, going to be slaughtered. So people will actually buy those animals and then they will set them free. And do it as part of like a ritual. And then it is set, and this is a practice called setar, like life release. And we've done it here actually a few times too in the past. So it is the cause that doing that is said to be a specific cause for being able to cross this raging river, like to not get swept up by the raging river,
Yeah.
and the as one of these hell realms.
So the Nata, the 20 Chagdo.
So if they're, then with that one, then there become 20. Because then the yang did the chok ji dang.
No, I think 80. Hibikuro.
So it's because there's 16 and then 17 is.
20.
So what is the 20? Oh, because I see. So that raging river is one of the 4, which makes 5. So then 5 in each of the directions is 20.
Each corner directions.
And then in the intermediate directions, and like each corner are these hill of shamali trees. So actually then, dini nishu tsaji, yeah. So they're actually altogether 24.
That's counting the cold and the hot.
No, these are just the neighboring hells.
Just the ephemeral.
Just the neighboring hells, not the ephemeral hells are separate. So most commonly they're thought of as the 16 neighboring hells. That's usually, but he's saying, there are these other ways of that they're described as being. So they're like, usually described as the 16 neighboring hills, and then the hills of Shamali trees are separate from that, usually in the way that it's counted. But if you count all of them all together and this addition of this raging river as one of them, then it's 24 altogether of just the neighboring hills.
So there's one of each of these.
In the 4 directions, exactly.
6, 6, 6. So that's 24.
No.
5,
So actually, either 4, 4, 4, 4, which makes 16, or if you're counting 5, then 5, 5, 5, 5, which is 20, and then you have in the intermediate directions, or as he's saying, in the corners, you have the hills of
4
Shamali,
corners,
which are
maybe.
4, and so then that makes 24 altogether, or 20 altogether. 16 plus 4 is 20, yeah.
Okay, so we have some questions.
So for me, when
Can we have the microphone?
So all of this, I mean, you said before that they could be places, they could not be places. But then for me, as the way that it seems that to be like the most functional is, because they're all related to the cost, right? So for example, when they talk about the duration of the hell realms being so eternal, it's because it seems that when you're in hell, when you're like angry, like one moment is like a whole year. Like you could, it's so long to be in one of those states. So to me, all of this, I don't know, it seems to me that it could be like a life of somebody and it just gets wasted, being angry. And then you're born again, and because you were angry the whole life, then you're again angry and angry. So kind of compounds time. And when you're happy, when you're loving, like life goes by so quickly because you don't have enough time to share the love and to create and be joyful. So is it more for us in a practical way, rather than trying to think about, oh, like this place I'm gonna go or something, like to really just think about like more like in a psychology term, like here in the West, it's like, what is the practical way we can use these metaphors in our own mind to change it, to do something good with it?
Yeah, I think Terawa, Pijatita, Inati Tatindi Koranke, that tender or Pijatita, that Jake China Konyarwate, Cotindo, Jake individually, Yam Yon Sigris. Karsane ngaso lepe mongo sagori defend be hansaya kita tanda ma jaya molano bajia konro saya tindi yungres jegwa jegterwa.
So, well, first of all, in this question of like, do they exist or not exist? They don't exist on the ultimate level, but for a being who has created the karma to be born in a hell realm like this, it definitely exists. Because if you think about, and the way we can think about it is that, individually we create so much different karma. Each karmic accrual from any given individual throughout all their many lives is like very diverse. So there are karmic causes that lead to taking rebirth in different realms. And so through very powerful anger and through actions of violence, like some people who spend their lives at war, killing people and angry, and this then can create the causes to experience a hell-like existence, or an existence of hell, literally, in a next life, in a future life.
That tindi is not a negative side in the even though this human world, Zamotana, Tandanga to 60 hell, 20 hell, say they're not big deal. Hansa Chung Doro, the Mayung and Richard Yorwa.
And so, like, but if we think about the kind of horrific experiences that can even hell-like experiences that can be experienced here on Earth, then even these 16 realms are not even that big of a deal, because there's like so many more varieties of just extreme torture and terror that can be experienced by beings, here in the human realm.
That is interesting. Also, the long story, the Chora Kat Chigre, Tamo Yore, Tsawa Yore, the Osamgirawa. Yina Yang, also, human being Koranke, the Muini to Chigi Orwa.
Gandhi?
Torture in Chigor.
Yeah, and so, like, the idea of like being cut, being, freezing cold, being subjected to like unbearable heat. But human beings do those kinds of things to each other. People torture people. And that is, so it's not actually that hard to conceive of, really, when we think about the kind of things that go on in this human realm even.
Yeah, there also this, during the cultural revelation, so this pour the hot water in the body.
They would pour boiling hot water on people's bodies.
Also this that we call this stove. Stove is we call arm, like very long. Then it's completely, red, the metal, and then just.
So like an iron prod that is like basically like, what is that called when you brand an animal? Like, so basically like a poker that is heated up in the stove until it's iron hot and red.
And also this, these days, actually this is my friend, actually really dear friend, and like a relative. So he sort of escaped in Dharam.
He escaped.
India, Dharamsala. And then he back to Tibet, But one reason, it's not really big deal, but or did you see this another person in Dharamsala? He said, no. But the torture is this cold hell, sort of like underground, and then it's the like extremely freezing, like cold, they put like AC, whatever. This kind he died, they're doing the torture. So he's, innocent.
And he was-
Okaya yo ma
He hadn't done anything.
So that tini chingen de la ko de lesa na contribute yung
So when people do that to other humans, when people torture other beings, there's got to be a karmic result for that.
So that I think not only like Communist Party, not only China. I think
All
in the
over.
world, what
Yeah.
they're doing, how much punishment, how much they kill.
Gaza.
You know. So this basically is kind of also I think we last week talking. You know, what is the nuclear weapon? You know, how hard?
Oh, nuclear.
Yeah. So this, I don't know, like million times like maybe ordinary fire, right? So those kind of things they're making, you know. So they who made, who decide, who bombed, you know, those they are consequences, you know, this. The result, the karma they said, terwa, chibala jusag maris, chibala jusag maris.
So like, once there's no action that isn't going to yield a result. Once something is done, then there is definitely going to be the karmic consequences of that action.
Today, I think another thing is that's all young physically be long ride and different realms of not so nyom basaya the coaching. Tanda di nga so three lower empty could junda wotela Karsena Natsuki Jula you be told something chadi or this. Benak Chashavina, Tene Shadante, Yarvare is Lagdoa. Or Tin the Tene Natsuki Jula tea, Kushadan Chimbo you be Kala. That tea koji hako where Kachimbo is, you can is. Nekap the Tatunik, some noji tango. Reality that you could anger or top your maritina young or holding chair. Ko tandana jichina, huge be hedan lane, di vina, then ko nyarwan no chade gro.
But the important thing to understand about this is that the seeds for the 6 realms exist in our mind stream as the afflicted mind states. So the cause, although we may not have the conditions that cause the cause to become something that corresponds, an action that corresponds with the fruition of the hell realm, the seed is the same, the emotion is the same. And so as long as what are the 3 lower realms? They are a product of the 3 poisons in our own mind stream. So when we have the arising of intense anger, we can taste, the kind of quality of the hell realm that is in that anger. And when we're really angry, it's really painful. We suffer as a result of that anger. So we can really understand, that how it is that as long as those afflictions are present and are not subdued in our mind stream, even, both in a kind of long-term sense and in a short-term sense, when anger arises where we are kind of touching into those hell realms and the potential for those hell realms, and especially the more prolonged that the anger becomes when we hold on to the anger. And so the significance of really purifying the afflictive emotions when we can relate to them in that way and really understand how full-blown and manifest they can become on a karmic level, then we're really motivated to subdue our own mind.
So just to clarify, then I guess I understand what you say. Just to clarify what you said from the question, the original question. Then it sounds then that the Buddha gave us the method because ultimately it's all about methods. To me, it's like to see the practical, and so he gave us this method of showing us, kind of like when we put the hand on the fire and we learn because of the pain, we never touch it again. So because we don't want to go and kill somebody to be in prison the whole life and then suffer the consequences of that, then he very skillfully said, look, This is all the stuff, so then we can get into that mindset, see it from what we can see from our reality, from war, from like biological weapons history, and then be able then to be motivated to not do these things because we know this is going to be the result. That's basically like the what you
Right,
said.
right, absolutely.
Yeah.
That, yeah. So this also we, so with the practice side, okay, we said yes, okay, we learning, okay, there is all hell beings, maybe they are separated somewhere, you know, but really is that this whatever we have experienced, you know, so like when we angry, you know, so how much the suffering, how much difficult, you know. So that is, yes, of course, first, so everybody have afflictive emotions, so, but then you understand it, so that you said exactly, okay, I don't know, maybe I don't know, maybe outside is hell, but this is, if I all the time angry, it's just like hell, you know, miserable, you know, so I don't want that, you know, so this also, this anger is temporary, anger is not really rare, but we holding the anger, then as long as we hold,
It becomes a reality.
the reality, and also this the tremendous suffering. So that's yeah. So we listen. So that's actually this the suffering. They said very good, you know, because we used to the suffering, we under suffering, and then this we understanding. Okay, no longer, you know. Okay.
Having listened to this conversation about seeds, the seeds are there, even though if we don't, you know, act upon them. When you talk about seed syllables, are you using the word seed in the same way? Is that like planting a different seed when we do practice, deity practice?
Seed syllable.
Kain sina ti pena yang nga lapang chirang lapang tes kaka yorwa kain sina nga sawon la yorwa pena di nga cho den di nyomo banga yona tani di erdo yona tani di roa rik ki sawon rawore la imba tani sawon de do la do tani yang pena nga cho den di yingro la garwa de do la yang sawon la garwa tene di dang penas nyom momba gi cho la sawon la ne tene yingru yang sawon yo ba dawa dawa che te pena yang bakcha kaka dawa dak par che gi
I think that's good. Yeah. Dati chona lam yak sari karsena dati chetang thandan ro lam na nga so chetang general lap ke nyom mong be ke sawon lap du sisil bo mares karsena ko je lejing sa ne ti ke te ne dev mi bares lam.
So first of all, when we use the word seed in the context of afflictive emotions and the 6 realms of samsara, that's more like seed being used like cause. You know, because those afflictions are the cause of wandering in the 6 realms of samsara. They correspond with the 6 realms, each of the, you know, afflictive emotions. So that is it's like the cause that brings about a result.
Then no seed syllable.
Not a seed syllable.
Right. Yina, however, karsena yang as purifying cheala 6 remla, tene tandang as the omani payment homeless or the 6 syllable tike 6 remla purifying chigri. Te yang specific la yang for also bena as theories bena tubato the sound.
However, there is a connection because from the side of purification, because syllables, and it's funny actually, I was just thinking like the word in Tibetan is yingdru, which is actually doesn't have the word seed in it, but we call it seed syllable in it, and it's fine, you know, but like for instance, it is said that the syllables of the Mani mantra, the 6 syllables of Mani mantra, Om Mani Padme Hum, that those syllables purify the seeds of rebirth in the six realms. So they do actually, like as we recite them, they counteract the momentum for rebirth in the six realms of samsara and purify those tendencies. So they're the seeds, they're the syllables that purify the potential for those states. So there's definitely a connection there. And then also when we talk about like the six munis, which also, you know, this comes up, for instance, in the Mani Drupchen, in the text, you'll notice there's mention of the six Buddhas of the six realms, the six munis, which are also like, you know, these seeds that purify those six states of existence. Like the purified nature of those realms is that of the six munis.
Thank you. One more quick question, please. So on page 3, when you were discussing aspiration for liberation, because what I heard is because my existence, I probably don't have the energy for liberation in this life. Should my aspiration just be for a better rebirth so that I can continue to practice? Should I just give up on
Can you say specifically where on page 3? You mean like, or was it in what he was talking about? Maybe the just above.
So
But-
it says a favorable
With past and
future lives, right? The understanding that this endless cycle of birth and death brings suffering gives this life a clear purpose, awakening and securing a favorable rebirth.
다 데려와. 이나 다 가르치는 거 조직 체직을 상기 톱세야 돼. 고 마시와 말이 스톱 시그레스. 이미 이나양 강다 투구 요롱 투구 미롱 맞서 골드 상기 톱쇼스 막 가르치나. 고 텐디요나 토마시와 말이.
So, like, definitely don't give up, because it's all the same thing. You know, it's all the same path with the same goal, whether it happens in this life, whether it happens lifetimes from now. We're still in the trajectory of our goal is awakening for the sake of all beings. And so it's not impossible to awaken in this life. It takes a lot. It's not impossible, but even if it doesn't happen in this life, that is still our objective, and we progress on the path of awakening. That's precisely what this is saying, that it will lead to conditions that will allow us to continue on the path as long as we are working towards that to the best of our ability.
And Terawa, I think the story, one story, so maybe, yeah, we have already 5. But, so yes, of course, we have the negatives, afflictive emotions, or we can say maybe everybody. But the other hand is we have a lot of merit, you know. So we have Dharma practice, help the others, and also
We have confidence, we have faith and belief.
Right time, right moment.
So actually that quality of faith is so powerful that it said that even if you've accumulated the causes to be reborn in the lower realms, when, like, if the specific causes and conditions come together, particularly with that quality of faith, then in a single instant, it can become the cause for awakening.
So then this is the background, is the story. So there is one Lama and one old woman. So then one day the old woman tell the Lama, so,
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this one, the old woman said, okay, I think Lama said, okay, you can,
So the Lama was teaching her, like, these things are virtue, these things are non-virtue. Oh, okay. So first is virtue. So this is virtue. These are the benefits of virtue, the incredible benefits of, virtue.
So then the old woman said, that Lama, of course you guarantee enlightenment.
Like Lama, based on what you're telling me, then you, without a doubt, it is guaranteed that you will achieve enlightenment.
But even this me,
it's in fact then guaranteed that even I will.
100% achieve enlightenment.
Because of,
the benefit, right? Merit.
Of virtue and merit, the power of virtue and merit.
Sometimes Lama teaching this negative, afflictive emotions, this negative, But then, according to you saying the negative side, of course, the old woman, I am going to hell, but maybe you're going to hell too.
Do you guys get it? So, like what he's saying is that, so what it is saying is that based on these teachings that like, wow, how powerful is virtue, that if you do this one tiny thing, the result will be like, guaranteed awakening in this life. Then she was saying, oh, well, that in that case, like you're definitely, going to become a full Buddha. In fact, even I'm going to become a full Buddha, right? And then, but then on the other hand, the negativities, like you do even the smallest negativity and the result can be like lifetimes of languishing and, or eons of languishing in the deepest hell. And so then based on those teachings, she says, well, if that's the case, then I am like definitely destined for the hell realms. In fact, even Lama, you're probably destined for the hell realms.
My point is, in the same time,
So his point, he said, is that it's true, the power and the benefit of virtue, so many forms of virtue, inconceivably vast. Likewise, the power and negativity of negativity, and even seemingly small, inconsequent forms of negativity, is also pretty tremendous. So we all create have a collection of unfathomable different number of causes throughout all of our lives that we've accumulated of virtue and non-virtue. And so it's impossible to know or say when the conditions for awakening can come together. There is most certainly the potential there. So it definitely isn't impossible. Okay. So there are like specific causes that guarantee our eventual awakening.
그 용자 베스노리 가서 추운 티요로 담배 추 짜지 못 티디요레스.
So one of these is receiving the pith instructions, actually like hearing the Dharma.
제가 나 얘기 되네 테레다 가서 개체 효제 가르쳐야 라비나 다 디나는 가서 냠내 치탕 디나네 냠내 치탕 조 가서나 다 대바당 대차디다 이치와라
And
and
so, and the second one is understanding how to practice, and in particular, the most crucial ingredient in our practice is that of confidence or faith or trust. Trust is a good word.
대바 디게 토네 땅가서 가서나 돈이 초담지 랑이 말어와 라와 초담지 다 도초담이 라보면 가서 그 주일에 유비 뇽몽바티 근데 니마 찍고 랑이 말어 가서다 장기요래 몸기요래 태하코나 근데 코르바세야 다 핵사버래 코르바 핵라고도 코르바 메가 차사래서 거지 마음에 송송세야 코르바세야 때 메가 차먹고요.
And the other is that the true nature of all phenomena is emptiness, and that is also the true nature of our mind. And in particular, the afflictive emotions that are in our mind stream are the nature of emptiness themselves. And so there is they can be
if you understand that,
if we understand that, then they are purified in that understanding.
So no longer in the samsara.
And then, and when that is understood, we're no longer in samsara.
배는 가서 잡장 강가면 소원도와 갈세는 가서 삼사라 배는 깔와 똥도 나라테네 뭔가 자꾸 문화지 유비나스 이나테네 가서 든디제 하거나 테네 디게 문화디 갈세는 라이트 샤르이나 근데 깔와 똥 타타 가세 임비나 양고 라이트게 그 통도고요래 자꾸
So,
나 이게 테네 가서 직다 단기 공휴가 나이리 직 대바당 이제당 되네 초탐지 게다 가서 그래 조 가서 랑 용몽바랑기 말어 통비나 디게 뭐바다 세로고요레스 뭔바 세베 깔라 가탄 공휴 no longer dark 라와 no longer samsara 차노고레스
just as it says in the Ganges Mahamudra, the Mahamudra Upadesha, a single instant of realizing the innate radiance of awareness is like shining a light in a cavern that has been dark. Even if that cavern has been dark for eons, for limitless eons, just a single moment of the radiance of awareness shining forth illuminates the darkness instantaneously. Oh, and in that same way, when we have, with trust, with the qualities of trust, with the qualities of faith, and when we practice in such a way that we are able to see the lack of substantial nature of the afflictive emotions in our mind stream, if we can understand that, then in that single instance of recognition, there's complete freedom.
다소 디나리 소진 두드나 망보탄다다 제 대바탄 이체당 되네 돈이당 돌아요르와 이네 다동이야 디나리 섭솜 카리라위나 기타 다든 짐바 세이다 당지틀레스 다 다든 짐바디 직 상본증기 요나리 냠반증기 요나리 다 딘짐바 데 행나 되네 다 걸바 핵바레스
And so that which keeps us bound is the mind of self-grasping. And there's many manifestations of that. We have grasping that's like, to the on the positive side, we have grasping on the negative side. But the grasping itself, the sense of self-identification is what keeps us bound. And so if we overcome that habit of self-grasping, then that itself is liberation.
That is only not the build. Who samsara build? Chibarisana, that Mamboji, you're the branch in a Savati, that build Chibaris.
So who built samsara? There are many branches of, its manifestation, but really at the core, the one who creates this entire illusion of samsara is the mind of self-grasping, self-identification.
That he built Chiha, that build Chiha samsara, that samsara hates no longer samsara, yomaris.
And when that self-grasping is cast off, when it unravels, it's no longer there, then there's no longer that entire illusion of samsara.
Okay.
Here's a question online.
Okay.
Kunjuk Bende Loro asked, does anyone know if there's more to the excerpt from Milarepa that we recite in the beginning? I'm wondering if this is from a song, Rigdu Korwe Dunaldi, that.
Yeah.
I'm interested in reading this as a whole for full context rather than just an excerpt. If there's more to it, I tried looking it up, but I couldn't find it verbatim.
De la yang de Milarepa gi guru chekne yong yore be de gainsena gordi chatsang logo sare la yore. Yeah, so it is part of a song. Definitely from one of Milarepa's songs, but he can't remember offhand. Like, and he's not so he doesn't know if there's, I guess, if it's part of a larger song or not. Because where this quote has come from is in Dharmakirti Shalung. And so these are the lines that Drikung Dharmakirti references from Milarepa, saying, this is, to exemplify the suffering of the faults of samsara.
So, no more questions?
I have a question, Drupal. Drupal? Oh.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So, I've been doing some research and it's really interesting. I've been reading Trungpa's Dharma art book, Chogyam Trungpa's book about Dharma art. Yeah. And there are these hell parks in Thailand.
Oh, yeah.
Very creative people have built these elaborate sculptures and sculpture gardens that portray the hell realms.
Thailand la. De nyawe de dumra yorwa, de nyawe gi yul yimba nang shinzo yorwa, de re shindu.
And I was thinking, for demonstrating the causes of enlightenment and also demonstrating the causes of suffering, as a teaching tool or as an expression, I found so people go onto Zoom rooms now that we have the internet, and it's brought people together in this really interesting way. But there's also an inverse of that, because there are a lot of Zoom rooms where terrible things happen. I've done some interesting investigation into where people go and they lure people onto rooms and they harm themselves and they harm others, or they use dangerous drugs. They engage in just hell, the type of activity that you would associate with the hell realm, you know? And so thinking about that, like, and on the contrary of that is like 12-step recovery. That since the pandemic, people got into Zoom on recovery and they go there to help people. They go help people recover from drug and alcohol addiction, and they take them through the 12 steps about from that tradition as a spiritual program. And so the motivation for people showing up for that is to benefit others, to do something to advance, to generate bodhicitta, even if they don't think of it in that way necessarily, in the same language that we have. But it would be interesting if we could like somehow find the resources to embark on a creative project of building a hell park somewhere in Wesley Chapel. I mean, why not, right? We could build our own hell park.
Te tampo yang Thailand la yang Dumra
Te ha ko song te
Zoyo
ro chi gu dog la bro.
Chick de Zoom la yang de Dramanda kashe Zoom la yang mi kashe be Hansaya Dukcha Lega Dukcha Rang la yang Nupa Tang Che go drawo dene pinsun yang de be Kemsa drawo Dramanda Che agi Sopa drawo Yorwa kashe Zoom la de Dajala dene yang Kongi Samsu la Oh, Gande Yong Sare, then the Wesley Chapel. Yeah.
Rita Tanda di Nato di Gomba Tamala. Tene Remoyores. Nato Remoyore. Tene ta Tanda di Trilorem, Tri Higherem, Tene Nato da ya Sata Suke Tene. Laki Tene ta Tanda Nato Jatchen He Sumtsom. Gandan Tuga, that Tamala Sato Yoro, Dollar Dido, T Ganatini, Kasati, something Sunkam Rawa, Sunkam Niri Judu, T Gan Sumi, Kamla Sobe, Remoyore, Tine Yandon, Dewa Janji Shinkam, Tindi Bar Yore, Stako Nervi Bar Yore, Shinkam Bar Yore, La Bar Yore is.
So actually it's fairly commonplace, at least at all of the monasteries, to have depictions. Usually they're in the form of like, murals or drawings of the 6 realms of cyclic existence, where there are very, detailed depictions of the hell realms. There are detailed depictions of the 3 lower realms, also the higher realms, the human realm, the God realms, from like the, for the God realms of the 4 great kings, the God realms of the 33, and so on and so forth, all the way into the realms that correspond with the states of meditative absorption, the 4 dhyanas, and then the 4 formless absorptions, and then above that, for instance, Sukhavati, the pure realm of Devachan. And so this is pretty commonplace to have depictions.
There is Teta Jetanga to the co Zambling di Dala to the page yoris, Pobe Petela, Co Musum Chula Samba Sum Chudita, Co Mundamanda, Yojiris.
And there's just no end to all sorts of different manifestations of different things that we will find on this earth. As is said, in this world, like 30 different people have 30 different ideas, 30 different thoughts, 30 different opinions, 30, different things. And so there's no end to what you will find. But the most important thing is what we do with our mind.
Almost every week, every Sunday, tindichine tene jik tegana yi nga tsoda gomjaya rowa Tuesday dang tene Thursday dang tene ta nga tso jik kanto to chitu gu yore chigi yores te indu tene ta maungbali na yang ko jik yar tene chi top sigres
So, and you know, really, like we just.
yine yang karsen ta nga tso jik tops ko ba dodo jik bede jik jiwlo ba na yi ko nga tso jik karse gore jik rihendo jik karbo jik be marbo soya no be tak kapto koran sotobya kabores ke ko to sungo gurwa ko ma chamala juchu tang to ya dis kabores.
So, you know, we have to just do the best that we can, and really do what we can to change our negative habits, and really do what we can to encourage our tendencies towards what is wholesome and good and virtuous, and you know, and to become more aware of what we're doing and what our mind is doing, because oftentimes there's not even awareness of the negative intentions and mind states that are directing us. So we have to build that awareness and then actively build our stream of virtuous inclination. And, you know, we provide here at the center, he was saying, you know, every week when we come together and we, you know, listen and we discuss the Dharma teachings, we practice virtue together every Sunday. We have our weekly practices every Tuesday, every Thursday. And so just by showing up and
Also,
doing
yeah, Monday
those,
or what?
and we have Monday meditation. And so just by showing up and doing these, using these opportunities to incline our mind toward virtue, to incline our body, speech, and mind toward virtue, it makes a difference. And so little by little, we get better and better. And we can't, you know, we can't expect like a sudden change to happen all at once. It's not like, oh, okay, now I'm gonna, you know, completely overcome all my negative habits, and like, you know, turning a white cloth like all of a sudden won't become red. It's something that we have to do and understand, that the effects are gradual, that they build over time, and the important thing is our commitment to working on it and getting better and better.
Yeah, so also this, that's true, you know, so we have to benefit, you know, so we did, you know, so before we don't have anything here, where's the chapel, so we really work hard, you know, so all the Sangha members, physically and financially, and including myself. So like sometimes like 9 to 9 just work. So this is not really the special thing. Only my motivation or Sangha member motivation benefit the, you know, Sangha members, benefit others. So this kind of meditation hall, teaching hall, practice hall. So we really work hard, so we finish. But also your future, yeah, we better, you know, so working together. And also that really is the, you know, they used to be difficult to find the teacher, teachings, place. So I think this we have now. So we have teachings or place. So that is actually I think everybody great for, you know. And also we like this particular time with the mind. And Virginia, you work really hard, put together. So this is really we deeply, you know, motivation. So for the benefit, you know, Sangha members, you know. So I thinking something for Sangha member can learn, or something your Sangha member can practice, so we try to prepare, So this is not like kind of couple $1,000 we throw, not like that. I think much more than, I think, so, yeah, I think.
The reason why I mentioned it, Drupon, was because we have so many creative and talented people in our Sangha. We have just such a wealth of very talented, very creative, very intelligent, capable people, that I just felt inspired, So I think creatively, there's so much that is possible.
Yeah, that's true, So yeah, because we could, whatever we work for benefit others. So yeah, so in many ways we can working on, better. So whatever, many ways to help to the center, help to the Sangha member, help to community. So yeah, many ways, So definitely.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. What? Fartati?
But na the young console na the money to bring koi like hashi la go.
That's only lot of this. Mama sama
Yeah.
Okay, so we stop here. Thank you very much, and see you. So we are already. So today is pretty good. We all passed all hair beans. No more hair. Okay.
But we still have hungry ghosts, which are also pretty bad.
So that's okay. So now, so we keep going tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.